We seem to be in a bit of a weird animal-themed month, don't we? If it helps, the next 5 minute history is not about animals, but that doesn't make it any less strange. But yeah, welcome back to 5 minute history, the weekly series where patrons choose the topic. This week we'll be talking about the Chief Mouser to the Cabinet Office, courtesy of Traveller's Ed. The Chief Mouser to the Cabinet Office is the official title given to the official cat at number 10 Downing Street, the residence on the administrative headquarters of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Now, I know what you might be saying, the United Kingdom is not a serious country if it has a cat office. On the contrary, this kind of whimsy fun is prime Britishness served up in a fluffy ball of mousedoom. The origins of the Chief Mouser role, I kid you not, stretch back several centuries. There is actually some anecdotal evidence of cats being kept at English government residences as early as the reign of Henry VIII in the 16th century, when Cardinal Thomas Wolsey, the one that got shivved, kept a cat by his side while performing duties as Lord Chancellor. However, official records date only from the 1920s when it comes to, the Chief Mouser, when government departments began to apply to the Treasury for small allowances to maintain residency cats. This shouldn't really be too shocking though to everyone, considering, cats and humans have a pretty interconnected history. Egyptians have famously held them in high regard, and of course ships have had cats as long as there have been ships to deal with rat problems. The description of the job is simple. The Chief Mouser's primary duty, or all mousers' duties, is to, mouse, as in demouse the buildings of unwanted rodents. It's a very sane and logical thing to have a cat for, unless you've got my cat, in which case you'll probably just stare at it and wonder what it is. Particularly though, considering that the age of the buildings in the UK is, quite old and damp, so they're prime breeding grounds for these kind of rodents. However, this is the United Kingdom, so when the public finally picked up and got wind of the fact there are official government cats, the Chief Mouser in particular became probably the only political appointee that the British people collectively like. Unlike human servants, the Chief Mouser does not have a fixed term of office, and the Chief Mouser remains in the position until they retire or die. The appointment is traditionally made by the Prime Minister at the time, but the feline does not belong to any individual occupant of number 10, and it continues in its role when one Prime Minister leaves and another arrives. Now, if you have cats like I do, you will understand that this ostensibly means that the cat is the dictator for life, and he controls the building that has the British nuclear launch codes in it. Although cats have lived and worked at number 10 Downing Street for many years, the title of Chief Mouser to the Cabinet Office in particular was not officially bestowed until 2011, when
Larry
was brought in. Larry is a brown and white tabby adopted from the Battersea Dogs and Cats home, and he was selected to address a particular rat problem. Larry's tenure has been pretty remarkable because he's been there for a really long time. By early 2026, he has spent 15 years in office, serving under 6, but given how short his term was, really 5 prime ministers and 1 lettuce, and he has become a staple of news coverage, often photographed outside the Prime Minister's residence and sometimes is described as the most powerful cat in the UK. Recently, he actually got bumped into by a photographer from Poland, and for a brief moment, you just know the cat considered pressing that nuke button. The position of the Chief Mouser is actually kind of portrayed in the media quite often, and as if the cat was a real civil servant, he actually gets an allowance and a genuine position within the government. Larry actually met Obama in 2011 during a diplomatic incident. I believe in the meeting he discussed the topic of meow. The list of Chief Mousers, both official and unofficial, features several memorable cats. Peter III, he served from 47 to 64, and he became one of the longest serving residents, and he earned the affection of the public, including some overseas correspondents who actually sent him gifts and letters to be read to him. Other cats include Peter, a Manx cat who served through much of the 1960s and early 70s. Of course, there was Wilberforce, who was regarded in his obituary as the best mouser in Britain, after a long tenure through several Prime Ministers' terms. And yeah, in general, the Chief Mouser has become a cultural symbol in Britain. It's humorous, it's fun, it's traditional, it's pretty much a Monty Python sketch. Cats like Larry, though, have their own social media followings these days, and they attract a lot of attention, especially when it comes to visiting dignitaries. Just watch, whenever somebody is important at 10 Downing Street and the BBC cameras are on them, the camera will actually swap to Larry quite often because it's Larry. Given the fact that the UK is in, well, a bit of a state politically at the moment, it's kind of nice to see this level of positivity, and it's undoubtedly a good thing for the British to have something so positive. In 2004, a political scientist actually ran a poll to see just how silly partisanship is, and in doing this, he used the former Chief Mouser, Humphrey. He showed a photo of Humphrey to different groups of people in different focus groups, and for different groups, which he organised based on their political affiliation, he would tell them whether or not the cat belonged to Tony Blair or Maggie Thatcher. People actually started to dislike a cat based on who they thought its owner was. Just to give you an idea of how moronically stupid partisanship is when it comes to politics. Humphrey, a literal cat, began to be hated by people on either side of the aisle because they didn't like his reported owner. Yeah, we live in a society. Oh, and by the way, Churchill nicknamed Bob the Chief Mouser when he arrived in office as the Munich Mouser because it's Winston bloody Churchill. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time.